अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणं कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरिं श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्रं भजे अच्युतं केशवं सत्यभामाधवं माधवं श्रीधरं राधिका राधितं इन्दिरामन्दिरं चेतसा सुन्दरं देवकी नन्दनं नन्दजं सन्ददे।
ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शंकराचार्यमध्यमां भस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। वर्स नंबर 100। सर्वव्यापृतिकरणं लिंगम् इदं स्यात् चिदात्मनः पुंसः पास्यादिकमिव तक्ष्णस्तेनैव आत्मा भवत्यसङ्गोऽयम्। The linga sharira lingamidam sarva vyapriti karanam chidatmanaha syat. This linga sharira, which is the subtle body, is the reason for all vyapara. Sarva vyapriti karanam. All activity is due to the subtle body. Chidatmanaha pumsa. For the Atma, which is Chidrupa, the pure consciousness, for that there is actually no vyapara. If you look at your Satchidananda Swarupa, the true nature is devoid of any activity. Because it cannot act. In order to act, you should have Shakti. Ichcha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti. But the Chidatma by itself supports all Shakti but doesn't possess any Shakti. In its presence, the Shakti operates. But the Chidatma is nothing but the pure consciousness alone. There is no Shakti, or it doesn't lend itself to any change. It is not the perceiver. It is not the enjoyer. It is not the knower. But it is on which the knowership is superimposed. Therefore, for that Atma, which is Chidatma, For it to become an actor, an enjoyer, a knower, you need an upadhi, and that upadhi for this jiva is the linga sharira. Sarva vyapriti karanam lingam. This sharira is the cause for all activity. Vasyadikamiva takshnaha tenaiva atma bhavati asangoyam. So for the carpenter takshnaha, there are many tools by which the carpenter does carpentry. He doesn't create anything by his own body. He needs all the tools by which he can operate on the log of wood to create the chairs and tables. Like that, this Atma, which is asangaha, non-attached to anything, just lights up this linga shariram, which makes all the vyapara possible. Let's go to 101. Andatva mandatva patutva dharmaha saugunya vaigunya vashadhi chakshushaha vadirya mukatva mukastataiva shrotradi dharma natu vetturatmanaha. Here, the qualities of the linga sharira and the stula indriya are highlighted and are shown that they don't belong to the Atma, Andhatvam. Andhatvam means blindness. Blindness is a quality of what? Chakshushaha. It is eye. The eyes have the andatvam. Andatva patutva dharmaha. The andatva, mandatva, patutva. Manda means a weak eye. Manda means like a vague sight or slowness. Then you have patutva, sharp eye. Somebody can see things which are like 5 kilometers away. But people like us, we can't see things which are even 5 centimeters away. It all depends on the nature of the indriya, chakshur indriya. Chakshushaha saugunya vaigunya vashat. The suguna and viguna. Suguna means it has the right qualities, strength. The eye is perfect, then you can see very well. If it is viguna, it has got some defects, then you might get andatvam or mandatvam. Irrespective, they are all qualities of the instrument which is the eye. Vadhirya mukatva mukaha tathaiva shrotradi dharma natu vetturatmanaha. Similarly, if you look at the ears have vadhirya. Vadhirya means deaf. Then mukatva. Mukatva means what? The one who can't speak, dumb. Mukhaha tathaiva shrotradi dharmaha, the ears and mouth and all these things have certain qualities. Your jnanendriyas can be defective, can be highly powerful, or can be in between, but they belong to that instrument, that karana, but not to the atma, which is light. Atma just lights up. A blind man's blindness is lighted up by atma. A good person with a good sight, his or her sight is lighted up by the atma. Okay, so all the physical body and the linga sharira aspects, like the indriyas, are lighted up by the atma, but none of these are gunas of atma, qualities of atma, because every quality is supported. So it has to be away from these qualities and holder of these qualities. Sorry. Then let's go to 102. Uchvasa nishvasa vijrumbhanakshut pratyastha prasyandanadyut kramanadikah kriyaha pranadikarmani vadanti tajñaha pranasya dharma vasana pipase. He continues, Ushvasaha Nishwasa. Ushvasa Nishwasa. Ushvasa means inhalation. That is Ushvasa. Then Nishwasa means exhalation. That is Nishwasa. Uchvasa Nishwasa. Then Vijrumbana means yawning. Like that. Vijrumbana. Kshutu. Kshutu is actually the, it can stand for hunger. But here it is a sneezing. Prasyandana, Utkramana, all these things. Secretion, leaving the body, the prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana leads to what? Uchvasa, Nishvasa, Vijrumbana, Kshut, Prasyandana. All these things. These kriyas are pranadi karmani vadanti tajñaha. People who know about, basically the doctors, they say these are qualities of prana, the energy which is driving this body, physiological, biological, anatomical forces which keep your body functioning. They have this quality. Pranasya dharma vashana pipase. Even the hunger and thirst, they are dharma of this body, the prana, the energy, the digestive system. They are lighted up by atma, but they are not atma guna. Therefore, all the prana related also is not you. Now, next one, 103. Antakaraname teshu chakshuradishu varshmani ahamityabhimanena tishtatyabhasa tejasa. Antakaranam. Antahkarana means your mind, buddhi and all these, including indriyas. That is antahkarana, the inner instrument, primarily mind. Eteshu chakshuradishu varshmani ahamityabhimanena. This antahkarana gets its identity on these jnanendriya, instruments of knowing. That is chakshuradishu. Ahamiti abhimana. It has identity that I am is because of all these eyes and all these are getting you certain inputs of what this is my body, this is my hand, leg, this is how I look. All these inputs are coming through these organs, external organs. And this inner organ identifies with this body, which is given as signal input through these instruments. So it also then identifies aham. This is aham, this is idam. This is me and this is naham, not me. That both are given to you as signals by these instruments of knowledge, these organs. Jnanendriya tells you that this is how this body looks. This is the body which comes with you. Based on that input, your inner organ, antahkarana, concludes this is what I am. Then tishtati abhasa tejasa. The inner organ also reflects the Swarupa Atma, the consciousness, because by itself antahkarana cannot get any consciousness. It is jada, it is born of 5 elements. Then how does it get the consciousness? By reflecting. This reflected consciousness is what gives the sense that I am this individual. Pratyage. Antahkaraname teshu chakshuradishu varmani ahamityabhimanena tishtati abhasa tejasa. The tejas, which is reflected tejas. The original consciousness becomes a reflected consciousness in this body by the strength of that reflected consciousness. It identifies itself with this individual body, and the individual body itself is revealed to you through the senses. That's what he says. Now 104. Agankarasya vigneyaha karta bhokta bhimanyayam sattvadiguణ yogena chavastatrayamashnuते. Ahankaraha, the sense of individual, the individuality. It is aham. Aham means the I-ness. This I. Saha vigneyaha. You need to understand that it is this ahankaraha which becomes the karta bhokta abhimani. Karta bhokta abhimani ayam ahankaraha. This high sense identifies itself as the enjoyer, the doer, the experiencer. I am having all these experiences. I am the one who is doing this. The activity also is perceived through the same jnanendriya only. Probably the karmendriya does something which is actually seen through the jnanendriya. Sometimes even if the jnanendriya's eyes are closed, ears are not hearing anything, but since your karmendriya, your body is doing some action, you probably know that directly through the karmendriya also, because these are intertwined. And sattvaadi guna yogena cha avastatrayam ashnute. There are three avastas: waken, dream, and deep sleep. How does one gain that? By yoga, coming in touch with what? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. The Sattva, Rajas, Tamo Guna together is called the Prakriti, Maya Prakriti. This Maya Prakriti creates waken, dream, and deep sleep. Avastatrayam. And in this Avastatrayam, I enjoy myself as a Bhokta or a Karta, or Karta Bhokta together. For example, in the deep sleep, I am only a Bhokta. I am not a Karta. I am having a Bhoga of the deep sleep state. That's why I get up and say, I slept nicely. It was a great sleep. Means I was a Bhokta. I was an enjoyer of the state. But you don't come out and say, I did the sleeping. By my strength, I did a great sleeping today. You don't say that because you are not a karta. You don't do that. In the dream and waken, there is karta. But the free will is not there in dream. You don't choose to do. The dream just happens, but then still there is some kartrutvam which is seen in the dream along with bhoktrutvam. But it is predominantly bhokta, a little bit of karta. In the waken, the full person is there as karta and bhokta, and both, all of them are certain variants of the ahankara, the individuality. So, in order for the kartrutvam and bhoktrutvam to go, the individuality has to go. Will it ever go? We have to see. 105. Vishayanamanukulye Sukhi dukhi viparyaye Sukham dukkham cha tad dharmaha Sadanandasya natmanaha. Vishayanam anukulye Sukhi Viparyaye sati dukhi Sukham dukkham cha tad dharmaha Vishaya dharmaha Atmanaha sadanandasya na dharmaha. Whenever there is a favorable state of things, Vishayanam anukulye. Anukula means favorable. When the sense objects, the situation and my mind are in a favorable state, then I experience sukha. The Vishaya, the objects of desire, sense objects have to be in a favorable state. The dosa has to be roasted properly. The salt has to be in the right proportion. Enough oil and ghee have to be used. Masala has to be also in a very favorable state. Then only the dosa will taste good. But even if the dosa has been prepared properly, my tongue also has to be in a favorable state. It should not have been in a burnt state by the hot coffee I took some time back. And the mind also should be in a state of enjoying the dosa. It should not be in a disturbed state. You shouldn't, if you are eating the dosa after a big fight with your wife or your husband, then the dosa's taste won't matter to you. So all these anukulyatvam need to be there. Vishayanam anukulye. If everything is favorable, aligned, then you can enjoy it sukhi. If any one of them is in an unfavorable state, then dukkhi viparyaye. Hence sukam dukkam cha vishaya dharma. Whichever ones are influencing it, it is that dharma. So it's either in the objects which are outside or the indriyas or the mind. So it is the taratamya, the fluctuation is created by these things. Therefore, that fluctuation is that dharma. This kind of a sukha dukkha is not atma dharma because atma is sadananda. It is ananda all the time. There can't be any taradamya, fluctuation, higher sukha, lower sukha and all. Okay. Then we'll go to 106. Atmartattvena hi preyan vishayo na swatah priyaha. Swata eva hi sarvesham atma priyatamo yataha. Tata atma sadanando nasya dukkham kadachana. Asya na dukkham kadachana. The atma doesn't have dukkham at any point in time. Any point in time. Because atma sadananda. Why? Why? Because atmartatvena hi preyanveshayaha. Na swatah priyaha. All the things, the vishaya, the enjoyment, the happiness in them, pleasure in them, is only because of the atma's manifestation in it. Swataha eva hi sarvesham atma priyatamo yataha. The atma is the one which is loved by everyone because its nature is one of happiness, ananda. The Ananda Swarupa of Atma is what is evident as sensory pleasure. Therefore, it is not the senses or the objects of senses that we are getting the happiness from, but it is only from the Atma Vastu. How do you say that? That is explained in the next one, 107. Yat sushuptau nirvishayaha atmanando nubhuyate shruti pratyakshamaidihyam anumananja jagradi. Because if you look at sushupti, the deep sleep, where there is no vishaya, nirvishaye, sushuptau, Atmanandaha anubhuyate. It is only the Atma's ananda, which there are no sense objects. The indriyas are not functioning, the mind is not functioning, nothing is functioning. Still there is happiness there. It is the most enjoyed thing in a day. What do you enjoy the most? The sleep. Even if you have the best of the dinner, still if your sleep is disturbed, you are not happy. So the The greatest enjoyment is the deepness of the sleep. Therefore, it is very evident it is the Atma which is the source of happiness. Sushuptau nirvishaye atmanandaha anubhuyate. And it is also corroborated by Shrutihi. Shrutihi pratyaksha maitihyam anumanam. It is corroborated by Shruti, it is evident in the Vekan, it is also spoken of by Itihasa, tradition, and by inference also you can see that it is the Atma's Sukha which is actually seen, experienced in all the other Taratamya Sukha. Therefore, it is the Atmananda, which is what you are actually seeking, because when you are seeking pleasure, you are actually seeking the Atmananda only. From the next verse, which is 108, we will see in the next session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम।